Hello and welcome to a new episode of ISRM Voices, where we meet the members of the Institute of Strategic Risk Management, the people behind the profession, behind the plans, and the policies. Today's guest is Gigi Agassini. She's a security consultant, a principal at GA Consultancy, originally from Mexico, dedicated her work to making security as a strategic partner, not a roadblock. We're going to talk about her journey, the real world struggle, changing minds, and the human cost of being in a profession that never sleeps. Gigi, welcome to ISRM Voices.
Thank you so much for having me today, Musaab. It's really an honor to be here and share, as you said, some of the best practices that it took and shaped my life during all these years being on the security industry.
Perfect. Let's jump right in. Uh, you're known leader in the security field right now. But let's go back to the start. How did you first find your way into this world of security and risk management?
Accidentally. It was not something that I was looking since the very beginning when I was in school, right? So because of necessity, I got the job in Mexico that just brings me into the security industry. And it's how everything starts. And to be honest with you, it was a great, it was seriously not something that I was looking for. It was by accidental.
Oh, perfect. Was there like an early experience, or maybe, as you said, a mistake or a tough project that shaped how you see this work, security work?
Yes, um, that it was a little bit further in my career. So after I work in this distributor in Mexico, I moved to be in charge of the operations in an integration company. So I was managing all the operations, putting in place all those projects, and I I can say proudly that I managed at the project, the expansion of the project on the international airport in Mexico City, in Terminal 2. So this integrator, we were in charge of the maintenance for two terminals and the expansion of that, and also an installation that we did in all the facilities that provide the gas to the airplanes. And that was like a very in tight time because it was delayed, and we had like a window to a deadline to deliver that project. That was something, and it changed completely my perspective from becoming from selling devices and make them work together in a laboratory space in a very controlled environment to the field and to deploy all of those solutions. Yeah, it was it changed my mind and it changed my perspective, and I will say that that was one of my aha moments that I had on the security industry in my very early stage in my career here.
Mhm. Great. It sounds like it was a big project and interesting one. So, Gigi, you're originally from Mexico. You worked in Mexico. You worked in I think in the U.S. and now in Canada, and you also did some projects around the world. So, these different culture, how does the specific culture shape the way you handle risk?
Oh, very much, and I really liked your question because it sometimes everybody has a bias, right? So as a human beings, we have a bias, our own bias based on our experience, our culture, our education, and on and on and on. And as a consultant, it's important to better understand where and to who you are gonna have that meeting or that consultation, because it can change the perspective, starting with yourself and
Mhm.
how you're gonna consult others based on what. And it's very important to be like very mind open and see that there is a 360, and the culture piece, seriously, it plays a very important role on everything, on the understanding, on the consultation, but also on the perception to the others on how you communicate and what are you gonna communicate. Like what you just put on the table, because culture, yes, culture, it can kill everything.
Yes, I heard Dr. Gav Schneider says the other day, culture eat strategy for breakfast.
Which is true. Which is true.
Yeah, I have to, have fun a little bit with you. What do you like about Canada?
There is a lot of things that I really like from Canada, and first of all is the opening to more cultures, and open to that, to be different. I don't want to say
So
that is like
very diverse.
yes, but yes and no. Diverse is not about colors, religions, and so on. Diversity is about the skills. You have different skills as mine, and I have different skills than my other colleagues, and that's diversity. And that's what the organization should be looking for, not to comply some statistics that I have 20 for this and 30 for that. And no, it's not a grocery list, right? I
Mhm.
have two from this, three for that, and five for the other. No, that's diversity is based on skills, but it's more about intercultural piece. So that's what I really like from Canada, and the way that they see you as a human, as a person, and it's a country that is made of immigrants from different countries, and I think that that is very unique. It's nice to feel you comfortable when you come from outside, to feel you that you are not alone. You're not the only one that come from a different country, and you have beautiful places to visit, beautiful landscapes, different weathers, and the weather also make you to live different view that landscape, and that diversity on the flora and fauna.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I did a road trip coast to coast, and I told my friend Canadians they don't need to travel outside to see good places, nice places. If you in the east and you come to the west, it's a whole different country, right? Same thing if you go up north. So you don't need to go to Europe or Asia to visit places. Everything is here, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go back to being consultant. One of your talks with the GSX, you talked about ESRM beyond the books. That implies for me, books maybe aren't enough. So, can you tell us about a time you tried to apply the standard? Maybe you realize it's just not going to work for human involved.
Yeah, actually, I consider myself an ambassador of the methodology enterprise security risk management, because it's a game changing from the security practitioner. It's usually security is being identified as very tactical,
Mhm.
but in this evolution, everything evolves, right? So security industry needs to evolve as well, and us as security practitioners needs to evolve with that as well, because if not, we're gonna just get behind on the old security that everybody's call it 3 year, that is guards, guns, and gates, and that 3 year is not gonna help the business anymore. It's clear that we live in a very like fast paced complex world, that it has a lot at the same time. all the geopolitical situation, all the economic situation, the technology that is evolving, all a pace that is so fast, plus all the immigration and the climate change and on and on and on, is too much at the same time to be managed. Why I'm saying this? Because organizations need to be resilient in this complex world. How security practitioners or slash risk practitioners are gonna help the organizations to continue in that path of innovation. How we become an enabler for the business. And that's one of the things that I really like the most of ESRM methodology, is to create that change in your mind that continue being tactical is not going to help the business anymore. If you really want to make that difference, it's better for us to become more strategic, better understand the way the business work, how and what are the plans in long term, what are the goals of the business. Because one thing is real, the business is not security, the business is not risk, but we are taking risk all the time.
Perfect. You mentioned AI. I want to ask you because you're been involved in in information security, cybersecurity, and I think you're studying something about AI as well. Do you think AI is just a bubble? What do you think AI, the future of AI, going to be in 2026, which is around the corner?
Yeah, look, personally, yes, I am part of that believers, and yes, and I believe that is a bubble, it's a hype. Everything now is AI, even though it's not. It's a lot of washing AI out there as well. Not everything that is outside is AI. It really AI. In actual terms, AI is something that evolve, learn, adapt, and take decisions by itself. That's AI in these current days. It's not automation. So to your point, I think it's a tool, as many others, right? That it can be used for the good and for the bad. There is a lot of expectations on AI. I'm not saying that it's not worth it, but it's important to know first what the necessity is, how that piece of AI is going to fit on your workflows, on your applications, on your processes, on your policies, and you need to train your people. But you need to start from the very beginning. What's the necessity? Why you want to use AI? Just to say because I use AI? Don't buy the product. That is what is happening mostly. And it's there is a very interesting statistic from IDC that it says that 80% of the POCs talking about AI never go to operations. And that's, to me, is a very important data that refers that people are derived from the product, not really for the necessity. There is very successful stories in regards of AI, but it's more because you create the governance. That governance piece on AI is very important. Who's gonna take decisions on what? And to have a human be accountable and in charge, because if something happened using or implementing the tool, who's going to take responsibility from that? That's why it's important also the governance, and who's going to change, who's going to update, who's going to maintain, who's going to, I mean, it's very important to think and plan all that before to just buy something and put in, like, it's not plug and play. AI is not a plug and play. So I will say that operational efficiency, yes, you're going to see a lot of AI tools, very good ones more than others. um, I don't want to demonize the AI. No, as I said, is a good tool. Um, but you need to be aware why you want it, what is the
Mhm.
necessity that you want to cover, the risks related, if you are going to create that environment, how you're going to create that environment, what part of your workflows are going to change, and how you're going to train now your people in regards of that. Not only that, oh, we implement this and those are the risks. How people are going to interact with that tool, right?
It's a big topic, but really quick, I want your thought on this. Do you think AI products are ready for the market? Since 2023, everybody is talking about AI. Everybody's using AI. There is a lot of company opened up, a lot of businesses integrated AI. But do you think AI is ready to take all these tasks to be a good product, flawless, without errors? The first thing that when you open ChatGPT or any model, you see a little text there that says AI can make errors. So why we as buy products like that we know it can generate error?
So
Mhm.
yes, I really like what you just put on the table. Us as a humans, we have a bias. I just mentioned that. How we can expect that tools as AI does not have that bias. It's made by and created by a human. And not even just that. AI is different technology. If we want to compare um, with a printer or with the innovative technology, this one is very different. And what it makes different, that can learn, adapt, and react and take decisions by itself. Something that with a printer machine does not happen. AI is different. So to be trained, AI needs a lot of data. What is the most common ocean that everybody use to get that data? The internet. I just ask you this question. Everything that is on the internet is true?
No.
No.
Yeah.
So if garbage in, garbage out. And that's why hallucinations, bad information, bad references you can get from any different type of generative AI. We just mentioned one, ChatGPT, but there is so many others, right? So what
Exactly.
is the same? Everybody goes to the same ocean, which is the internet. So how we pretend that the outcome does not become with that bias and some stories that are not true or sources that don't even exist. There is a huge case that had happened just recently. I'm not gonna mention the name of the company, but they did a report for an agency, governmental agency in US, and it was made by AI, but not reviewed for a human, and they just delivered like that. It was a huge thing, and
Yes, I heard about it. Yeah.
that's a great example of, I mean, it's not bad. Nobody's gonna kill you if you use generative AI, right? But you have to be very conscious that you have to review it. You have to read it. You have to check the sources if those are true, not if it's misinformation, disinformation. The human part, you are not gonna take it out with AI. It's gonna help you to gather all the information that is out there and is very useful, yes, but not everything that you get is going to be true. That's the difference.
Do you think we have humans depend on AI a lot, or we going to see that in the future?
No, I think that already exists. And I would say that is dependency on the technology. I mean, if you forgot your badge for your office in your place, you're not going to return for that. But what about your cell phone? If you just forgot your cell phone in your place, of course you're going to get back to your place and get your cell phone with you, isn't it? It's a technology dependency. And yes, there is start many people start asking this question that what are going to be the effects, the side effects of using all the time the AI and this dependency, that dependency that you just mentioned. And it's what is going to create like laziness on the brain. There is not any evidence yet, but there is many people that are just making those questions. And look, I mean, you're super young, but in when I was a kid, they were like those telephones with the
I used one of those. I'm not that young
yes,
yet.
and you memorize every single number, or
Yeah.
you have right like a small book with all the numbers of your family. Now, let me ask you, how many numbers you know by memory? Just one, right? And
Yeah.
before, and I'm telling you, like 40, 45 years ago, people memorize more than 20 numbers.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, yes, technology is making us lazy in many different ways. But again, it's a tool, and we need to carry out with the side effects of using those tools, right? So, yeah, I think that is a dependency not only in AI, but in technology at all, I will say. Yes.
Great. It's we wish we could have a longer time to speak about it. But let's move on to something else. Diana, you have a membership in various organizations, right? Uh, what do you see the value of being member of an organizations like ASIS, ISRM, or so on?
Two things to me are the most precious ones. First is the learning from others' experience, backgrounds, and such, and networking. Being able to expand my networking and know from others, that's wonderful for me. So I like very grateful to be able to connect with different people from with different skills, backgrounds, countries, experiences, and so on. It's huge because it gives me like a different perspective from others based on what I just mentioned, right? So backgrounds, experiences, cultures, and their own bias as well. So the learning piece to me is something that I value very much, and the networking.
I have one final question for you before we wrap it up here. When you look at the future of our industry, security, risk management, what is one human skill you think we are all lacking the most?
I love that one because we've been talking more about operational resilience and almost nothing about human resilience. And sometimes we forgot that everything is managed by humans and we cannot lose that part. We need to create those safe spaces in our organizations and from the people that we work with because people matters and that stress burnout or not even having a time to speak properly with others is unfortunately becoming the new reality. So how many times I will ask to your audience, how many times you really have that proper conversation with someone in your workplace? How many times you give that time, quality time to your team members? So I will say that the future, if we really want to reshape this future and continue in this complex world, we need to back to the basics. And that back to the basics is become more human centric. Try to really do something on the microaggressions harassment, discrimination. There's so many out there, and the bullying. How many bullies in every single organization, and nobody says anything. So create those spaces, safe spaces. Humans are important. People are important. They need to feel that they belong, that they are safe, and they can do the better.
Gigi, thank you so much for these thoughts and your time with us today. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. For our audience, thank you so much for supporting ISRM Voices. If you learned something today, please share it. Share this episode with your colleague, with your network. Follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube. And if you want to keep this conversation going with Gigi, you can reach out to her on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Stay ready.